Overwatch 2 was initially released on October 4th, 2022, and its multiplayer component is free to play on all platforms. We'll be taking a look at Overwatch 2 as its own game, rather than as a sequel to Overwatch 1, because in that regard, this is basically a major patch for the first game. If you're a seasoned Overwatch player, come let us know how you're finding the changes in the comments. And if you're a new Overwatch player, or think the game looks fun but haven't tried it yet, then you're in the right place. We do this every week, so make sure you're subscribed. With that said, we're here to let you know if Overwatch 2 is worth your time.
Yes, we are.
This might be my favourite shooter currently. It is fantastic. Overwatch 2 is a very team-oriented game, but the structure of those teams have been shaken up from Overwatch 1. You have 35 different heroes to choose from, and they are broken up into 3 categories. Support. These are your healers, buffers, and debuffers. You won't do much damage, and you can get killed by a particularly strong gust of wind, but you are crucial to team success. The DPS. These guys are your killers. You exist to remove the enemy team from the game. And the tank. This is the team bullet sponge. Your job is to soak up damage to push the objective and get your team in position for their roles. In Overwatch 1, teams were composed of 2 tanks, 2 DPS and 2 supports. In Overwatch 2, teams consist of 1 tank, 2 DPS and 2 supports. The tanks in Overwatch 2 are stronger, but there are less of them on the field. This is a fantastic change as tanks can be very hard to remove, and having 2 previously was a bit too much. This brings the importance of the DPS and support roles up, as 1 tank cannot steamroll a match. This team synergy is at the heart of Overwatch, and it is always satisfying to work together as a team. Maybe I just got lucky, but almost every game I played was stacked with 2 solid teams. It made for a very fun, competitive environment where I was never mad at a loss. Each hero is very unique, all have their own set of skills and their own playstyle. The skill floor for most heroes isn't very high. I managed to be effective with everyone I played as after a few games, but the skill ceiling for some of these guys is insane. I really enjoyed Roadhog as an all-around tank. Soldier 76 is a great starting DPS hero, but Hanzo was easily my favourite as I could play aggressively at range. For support, Moira blends damage and healing really well, but Zenyatta was my boy. I was always excited to try someone new out and return to old favourites. You're not swapping out your M16 for an AK-47 here. You're swapping out a magic bow or some funky balls for a gamer girl mech, and it is glorious. Role queue allows you to select your preferred role and has handy estimated matchmaking times. This is the best way to play, but if you select the all option, just know that you'll be playing support until you die. Open queue is a disaster. The team synergy of tank, DPS and support is completely lost, and all semblance of game balance and flow goes with it. There are 4 main game modes: escort, hybrid, push and control. Each of these modes works wonderfully well, but you cannot directly choose which one you play. Arcade features some more traditional and wacky modes that constantly rotate, and competitive is where you go to suffer. There is also a handy little tutorial and practice range. This is great for getting a feel for a new hero whilst the match loads up. Map design is solid. They are easy enough to learn, but all distinct in layout and location. This is a good thing as there are a lot of maps with a lot of different modes. My favourite was definitely Hollywood. From a gameplay standpoint, this game is fantastic. Blizzard have created a solid hero shooter where everyone on the team needs to pull their weight to succeed. There is a solid learning curve, but it is never too daunting to scare you off. Every hero feels distinct, and it's all wrapped together by great game mode design coupled with great maps. The only time I had a bad time was in open queue. I know what you're thinking, we'll be talking about the progression and monetization in our commitment section. Let's allow the gameplay to bask in its glory. 5 out of 5. Simplicity wins here. Overwatch 2 is a good looking game defined by its style. Each hero looks visually fantastic. Blizzard basically has free reign to create whoever they want, and they've really pushed the boat out with this roster. Everyone even got a polish up in design from Overwatch 1. Environments look visually distinct, each map is easy to distinguish by looks, and there is always some sort of unique play space to look at. Music and sound design is fantastic. I'm yet to find a weapon that doesn't look and sound great to use. Music never comes in to distract from a match, but it is always there for some nice ambience between. The personal anecdote that was the moment I knew this art direction was phenomenal actually came in my 3rd or 4th game. I was busy getting killed when I heard a shot from behind me, and proceeded to say, "That's a Cassidy." If I, a dude who has not played Overwatch in years, can identify one gunshot over a hail of others and relay that information to my team, then you have done a great job. This extends back to the looks of the heroes. It is always easy to see who is who and know who to prioritise. Everyone has a health bar on top of that. This is the perfect synergy of gameplay and art direction. It's the core that holds Overwatch 2 together, and that's why it gets the full 5 out of 5.
Get you back in the fight.
The story here is very much out of the way, but that's usually the norm for multiplayer shooters. You get a little cutscene of Winston when you first boot up the game, but outside of that, context to this multiplayer is pretty much non-existent. The core of Overwatch 2's narrative is the heroes and their interactions. Everyone has their own backstory and reason for joining Overwatch. Some of this is told through external shorts, some through in-game descriptions, but my favourite element of this is the character interactions during the start of the match. Whilst you're waiting for defense to camp your spawn, your heroes will chat to each other dynamically, and it gives a great sense of team banter and goes a long way to making the characters feel like they actually exist beside one another. Narrative sections for online shooters are always a bit short for us, but that superb hero work rounds out the non-existent plot to a nice, average 3 out of 5.
Take cover!
Overwatch 2 is a great content offering, backed by incredible settings. Gameplay-wise, we experienced no bugs whilst playing, but we had some major connection issues throughout our entire playtime. You're getting 4 standard game modes and an entire competitive system, arcade modes that always have something new to play, custom games and training modes, all with 35 unique heroes to play. There is plenty of content here, even if not a lot of it is new. Video has options for resolution, balance or frame rate modes. We played in resolution and had a great, smooth experience. You can adjust gamma, contrast and brightness with sliders. HDR can be enabled and calibrated. You can show performance stats, network latency and interpolation delay. Sound has sliders for master, effects, music and in-game voice. There are audio mix presets, and you can turn on elimination sounds for teammates and enemies separately. Voice chat and mic volume has sliders. You can choose what channels you also join and if voice chat is on. Nameplate icons can be enabled, and you can choose your voice chat mode. Controls are insane. You have your standard sensitivity, aim assist, invert and swap options, but you can completely remap all the control options per hero. This is an extra light year, not an extra mile. I'm not going to list this section off one by one, as we'd be here until next year, but know if there is something you don't like about these controls, you can adjust it. General allows you to enable post-match auto queue and dictate crossplay if your system allows it. You can limit client and server send rates and enable network quality notifications. Spectator voice lines and a simpler camera can be enabled. You can enable scores for Overwatch League matches and allow friends to create groups with you. You can enable or disable kill feed, elimination sounds, always skip kill cam, snap def cam to killer, and capture play of the game UI. There are sliders to adjust the opacity of your ultimate ability ring, player outlines, waypoints, and respawn icons. Social allows you to choose who can see your profile and manage your account. You can choose to receive whispers and enable group, team, and match text chat separately. Accessibility allows you to reduce camera shake, menu movement, and disable HUD shake. Subtitles can be enabled but do not have further options. This is a problem as the subtitles are tiny, and I was having a hard time reading them. You can choose a colorblind filter and adjust strength. You can also select friendly and enemy UI colors. There's a helpful guide to let you know what color everything will be. Finally, you can enable both text-to-speech and speech-to-text and adjust what is translated. This is a phenomenal suite of settings, especially in regards to control remapping. I would like a few more accessibility settings and definitely some subtitle tweaks, but I am happy with what is presently on offer. Now I'd like to talk about those connection bugs. I would frequently get randomly booted from both my current match and party. I'd also get booted from matches anytime I'd unlock an achievement, literally punished for doing well. Finding a good team isn't too hard, but finding a match is 5 minutes of browsing Reddit. These connection issues were frequent and left a very sour taste in my mouth, and that's why the specs are getting a 4 out of 5. You've had 6 years to get this working, Blizzard. It's just not on. Imagine getting rid of loot boxes, only to replace them with something much worse. On the bright side, your hard-earned cosmetics from Overwatch 1 will carry over if you merge your accounts. Hard drive footprint is middling at just under 24 gigabytes. Matches take between 5 and 15 minutes, but matchmaking time is slow, even in support. I'd frequently have matchmaking times of over 3 minutes per match. And if I was playing with a friend, this time only grew longer. Make sure you're setting aside some time to sit down and play Overwatch 2. You start with a few heroes unlocked and must play 150 matches in order to unlock everyone. Wins count as 2 matches. This makes for a grind between 12 to 25 hours to unlock everyone. This isn't too bad, and it opens your hero options organically. Just play the game, try out the heroes as you unlock them. I think it is a good system if the grind may be leaning on the long side. There is a battle pass. A new hero is locked behind tier 1 of the premium battle pass or tier 55 of the free battle pass. Progression felt slow, and looking through, there wasn't a single reward I actually wanted. This obviously varies from person to person, but there just isn't a lot of worthwhile substance for your grind here. Unlike other games, the Battle Pass does not award any currency to buy the next one with. There is a store, blessed by standard free-to-play prices. You know the drill, £20 for a skin you'll barely ever see. We've seen this before and we're unimpressed. Please stop buying these things so they can go the way of the loot box. There's also a second currency for buying League team outfits for your heroes. For the low price of £10, you can purchase a skin recolor. In order to recolor all of the heroes for just one team, you'll have to drop over £200. This is absurd. But don't worry everyone, Blizzard is here to make the grind worth your time. You can earn currency, a grand total of 60 coins per week for completing some challenges. Someone worked out that it would take you 5 years to unlock every cosmetic for the new hero if you just did weekly challenges and didn't buy anything. That post is linked in the description, but we'll be using that 5-year figure as our basis. If you'd like to unlock every unlockable cosmetic in Overwatch 2, you'd have to log in and do your weekly challenges every single week for 175 years. Now, I hate to get all existential on you, but you'll only be alive for around 80 years. You will literally die before you can complete this grind. It's nice that you can earn some of the cosmetics, but this is a joke. I'm just at a loss for words. The loot boxes were predatory, but this is an impossible grind. I don't personally care about the cosmetics here, but if this system is a success and makes Blizzard a lot of money, then it's a danger to the industry. Do not spend your money on this. It is really not worth it. Overwatch 2 gets the minimum score on our commitment scale for the worst grind we've ever seen. 1 out of 5. Overwatch 2 is absolutely worth your time at a base gameplay level. This is one of the finest shooters on the market. Every hero is unique and fun, and the game is polished to a shine. I can easily recommend you give this a go with a straight face. Unfortunately though, Overwatch 2 does not respect your time nor money, and has a grind longer than your lifespan. The only reward for your time here is learning the heroes and getting good with them. The currency grind is slow, and the battle pass is alike without any real decent rewards. It's honestly terrible. And as much as I hope Overwatch 2 succeeds on its gameplay merits, I hope it crashes and burns on the back of the greed of Activision Blizzard.